Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing a different kind of special factoring. It's not as common as the ones we've been practicing for the last several weeks, but it's called factor by grouping. We're going to be grouping things together, factor by grouping. So let's see how it works. First of all, look at this problem here. This, hopefully you notice, looks totally different than anything we've done before. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Normally we would have only 3 or maybe 2, but now we have 4. So let's see here. Could I factor by GCF? Well, if I look at the numbers 16 and 20 and 12 and 15, guess what? There is no common factor for any of those 4. So, what is our choice? Our only choice is the factor by grouping. And here's what we mean by grouping. We're going to group the first 2 together. And we're going to group the second 2 together. We're going to do a GCF on each one. So, look at the 16 and the 20. I think 4 is probably my GCF. How about k squared and k3? Yeah, k squared I think is my GCF. So let's see what I get now. I get 4, because 4 times 4 is 16. I have k, because k times k2 is k cubed, plus I need a 5, because 5 times 4 is 20, and I already have the k squared, so that's that. Let's look at the second group right here. I have a plus, and 12 and 15 is a 3, GCF, right? So let's see what we end up here with. We end up with 4k, because 3 times 4k is 12k. And then we end up with a plus 5, because 3 times 5 is this 15 right here. Alright, so we grouped them, we factored by GCF. Do you notice anything in common? Wait a minute, doesn't this have a 4k plus 5, and this have a 4k plus 5? So they have a common factor of 4k plus 5. Correct? Alright, so what does that leave with over to the left over here is 4k squared. And what's left over here to the right is simply a 3. And this right here is how you factor by grouping. Okay, here is the second and last problem. Hopefully you realize, wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Mr. Hornsby taught me whenever there's more than 3 or 2, I better think about grouping, right? Okay, so let's see what we have now. I'm going to group these 2 together. And these 2 together again. And let's see here. I know I have a 5p squared for my GCF. That leaves me 6p minus 1. Okay, now just to make sure, this times this is my 30p3 that I have up here. And this times this is my minus 5p squared. Okay? So, what about the right side? Well, the 42 and the 7 have a common factor of positive 7. So I'm going to do a 6p minus 1. And again, notice here is my 42p. And 7 times negative 1 is my negative 7 again. Okay, so if we agree with that, notice we have 6p minus 1 in both of them. So that will be my common factor again. 6p minus 1 What's left over here is 5p squared. What's left over here is plus 7. And that is our answer. That is the factoring by grouping of the original problem.